Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli. I just want to take this moment to thank all of you for all your love and support of the show, whether you're listening in your earbuds, watching on YouTube, or come to live shows. And man, let me tell you, the live shows have been packed. I'm blown away by how many of you are coming, showing up. And God, you're so good looking. You're a very, very sexy crew. You roll deep. And Eddie Bravo, myself, are so thankful that you guys show up. And as our dojo grows and gets stronger, more and more people want to be a part of it. And that's why I'm proud to announce that this episode is sponsored by our new sponsor, The Ridge, which is a minimalist front pocket wallet. Okay, this wallet, it's a radio frequency identification blocking wallet that is made by two metal plates, either titanium, carbon fiber, or aluminum, bound together by a durable elastic band, okay? It's very minimalist. It goes in your front pocket, and it's designed to help you ditch your bulky wallet. It's very slim. Now, it blocks radio frequency identification, okay? Basically, people can use, radio waves to read your wallet, and this wallet blocks all that. It's got a lifetime guarantee. We guarantee this will be the last wallet you ever buy, okay? It comes in many different styles: titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, polycarbohydrate, and over a dozen different styles and colors, okay? And now today, if you can get 10% off today. That's right, with free worldwide shipping by going to ridgewallet.com/tinfoilhat. That's ridgewallet.com/tinfoilhat, and use the promo code TFH10 that will be linked in the description, okay? It's a wonderful, wonderful wallet, and I hope you guys check it out. Again, the episode's sponsored by Ridge Wallet. Go to ridgewallet.com/tinfoilhat. Use the promo code TFH10 for 10% off your order. No more radio frequency identifications for you by getting the wallet. All right, you're the best. Please enjoy the show.
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil Hat.
Yeah, welcome to Tinfoil Hat. Welcome. The Revolution Will Be podcast. I had to put that out because that's not in that sound clip. We will eventually find the right one, and it is fine. Give it up for my partner in crime right here, XG, everybody.
What's up?
Yes, Mexicans in the house. Okay, they believe in aliens too. What is the?
Most of them are aliens.
Yeah. What is the Spanish word for space aliens?
Extraterrestre.
Ah, yeah, they're everywhere.
Extraterrestre.
They're
it's kind
everywhere.
of hard, especially when you got to say it slow.
Guys, thank you so much for all the kind words you guys have had on the last couple episodes. We are working hard. Myself, XG, Allie H, the Alley Cat, she's working hard. Aaron's over there trying to stop all the fucking propaganda. But just like all the other white guys, it won't work, okay? We are out here fighting for our truths, homeboy. A lot of great stuff going on. Thank you to everybody who came out to Philadelphia and Syracuse. We love you. We appreciate the support. You made my mom proud. Thank you so much. Next big show after that is the one and only. I will be at Hyenas. That's right, Hyenas in Palo, Texas. It's myself, one show, an hour of power, Tripoli versus everybody. And then the following night, we are in Houston. Yeah, I didn't send that to you, but Houston, we're at the Secret Group. You can go to secretgrouptx.com, find those tickets. Can you go on the Secret Group and see if you can find that real quick?
Yeah.
And then I forgot that, at the end of the month, at the final month, which is my birthday week, which I don't care about, but some people think it's important. I am at the House of Comedy in Arizona. That's right. I'm there during the All Things Comedy Festival, which means you will be getting private shows from me since nobody will be there. But please come out and watch me rock. I got all new information. Can you go to thesecretgroup.tx? Secret Group. Yes, secret group. CX. Yeah, we got. You just lift it up. Just lift it up. Who is that? Who is that? There we go. Oh, is it mine? Don't worry about that. Here we go. Yes, I'm gonna be here at the secret group. You can grab tickets there, and then let's see. Go down. Can you find it? There we go. There we go. That's somewhere on there. Trust me. Don't worry about me. I'll be rocking. Don't worry about me. And then we're at the Paramount Theater in Austin. That is secret group is it's Dallas, Texas, or Palo at Hyenas, November 2nd. The secret group in Houston, November 3rd. And then the Paramount Theater in Austin, November 4th. Who knows who will show up to that? Check out the Patreon. Please go to patreon.com/tinfoil hat. Get some of that, homeboy. I'm doing a audio podcast, and I'm doing one live stream Q&A with anybody who subscribes to the Patreon. And then finally, check out the Facebook. It's the Tinfoil Hat Podcast. Check that out. And that is the business. So we appreciate all your support. Joining me in studio, he is a return. First of all, let's get into the comic, then we'll bring in our returning champion. She's a good friend of mine. Her and her husband, I've been gigging with them for a very long time. And I always love when I see people that I didn't know listen to the podcast and how excited they are to talk about it. She's deep into the occult. She thinks everybody takes it in the butt in Hollywood, and I agree with her.
Am I wrong?
Please welcome my good friend, Allison Webb, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, Sam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm ready to go deep.
Yeah, I saw you at the Improv, and you were like, oh, dude, all the shady shit, I need to talk to you about it.
I'm all about it. I've been researching it for years, and it's really hard to find people who are willing to talk about it openly and not with a complete and total skepticism. And oh man, I'm salivating wanting to get into some of these subjects.
You are in the right dojo. You bring me a gift?
I do have a gift. It's called Tinfoil Hats and You.
Oh.
I feel like this is the how-to guide to protect yourself from all the radio waves and all the things in this world that are trying to get
5G,
deep.
5G, dude, it's coming. 5G.
That's it.
Get your hat right now, dog. 5G. It's come to bake your brains. Next up, he is one of the leading authorities, I'll say that, on the occult in Hollywood. He's joining us. He's out of Florida. He looks like he's undercover in Miami Vice, looking like he's buying drugs from somebody at a golf course. We're excited to have him here. Jay Dyer, everybody. Come on.
Woo!
Where's his website? There it is, janalysis.com. How are you, buddy? We're glad you got in the studio. Thank you for coming in. And I feel like we're a buddy cop team. Like, you play by the book, I can't read. Together, we fight crime.
Who's the good one? Who's the bad one? Who plays the good cop?
He plays a good
And
cop.
you're one of the 5 Gs
Yeah.
that he mentioned earlier.
Yeah. That sounds like a great... What is this chick doing right here satisfying? Jay, what is she satisfying?
Well, I do comedy too. I don't know if anyone knows that, but I don't. There's the ASMR videos where people lick microphones and and people are mesmerized by this, which actually does relate to mind control, by the way.
Yeah,
there were studies on this in this book. So I made my own, and it's like, what does garbage sound like? What do the dishes? It's just very annoying, but.
Is that almost like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does it make a sound? Is that what is garbage? Kind of like.
Well, like. There are millions of people mesmerized by good-looking girls. If we had one here, I'd show you.
We have a lot of them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But they're ASMR videos, and there's chicks that lick microphones and they squish things, like literally. And millions of people watch this because they sense some auditory thing and it gives them tingles. It's a real thing. It's called ASMR.
Just gotta talk to Mike so we can.
It's called ASMR on YouTube.
Yeah, really? So did you just give me 1,000 listeners with that?
Yeah, he just licked that. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Is that like cakefarter.com? You ever heard of cakefarter?
No, what is that?
That is specifically where people get off watching a woman who's like, you know what, I love cake farts. And then she literally spreads ass, sits on a cake, farts on it, but then sits up, has cake hanging off the asshole, and is literally farting cake pieces out of her ass.
It's so interesting. Are people actually beating off of that, or they just think it's funny?
It has so many freaking views. I don't either. People are laughing hysterically like I was.
By the way, that is the name of the episode, Cake Farter. We're done.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
People were asking why I was in town, and it's to promote a new app. I'm going to Silicon Valley. It's an idea I came up with. It's called Tutor. It's sort of like Twitter, but you mark on GPS where you farted, That way other people know
I
where
like
to
that.
avoid.
I like that.
That's
I like
hysterical.
that. I like that a lot.
That's a service
I
to
think
the world.
Zuck-
Thank you for that.
Zuck is gonna.
I think there should be an app where you Yelp Yelpers. Called Take It With a Grain of Salt, right?
Okay.
You're like,
Yes.
Susie
Yes.
did not like the cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory. A little FYI about Susie. She has 12 cats and is implicated in her ex-husband's murder. Just FYI, take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh, that's so
It's very
hysterical.
interesting. So you're a returning champion. We had you on. Everybody really enjoyed the episode. So we decided to have you back. You were in town. And it's so interesting because we just had a really great episode. The last couple of episodes have all been great. The John Paul Rice episode was really interesting with the whole, Trump and the Federal Reserve. This is such a great episode to talk about right now. The occult in Hollywood, and what we're going to get into is the intelligence agencies and their influence on Hollywood and who makes, who doesn't. Because as we saw at this Kavanaugh hearing, I'm seeing all these people with blue checks on their name, just virtue signaling, believe all victims all the time. And I think when you break down, you're like, okay, a woman had a trauma like this, or even a man had a trauma like this. You want to hear what they want to say. But the notion of that we should just automatically assume they're telling us the truth is ridiculous. There's a history of white women accusing black men of rape, false accusations used as a tool of racism to get these guys. I mean, to kill a mockingbird, that's the whole trial right there. There's no way that guy could do it because he doesn't have use of his left arm or right arm, and he couldn't have done what she said. Like, that's the whole point of that trial. And we see it now. I've seen this Kavanaugh, and I'm seeing friends of mine who I love so much, and we all start where we're doing open mics in LA, and then everybody goes their separate ways, and some people blow up and some people keep grinding, and it's all this kind of interesting journey we go on. But then I see these tweets from these people, and I'm like, what are you tweeting? I know you're not, you didn't go through all this. Not that I know everything they ever did, but it's like, for me, it's like, how many TV shows, pilots, everything you have to go through before you can no longer say it's hard for you to be you? I have this theory that this town now is overtaken by trust fund kids who are born on third base, crying about not being able to hit a home run.
Oh, amen to that.
Right?
Sounds like Trump.
It is. So what we see a lot is a lot of virtue signaling and this whole Twitter thing with the blue checks, and how people with blue checks, obviously their opinions are a little more important because they got a blue check. And then we start getting into the whole thing of like, is this controlled opposition? Are these people doing the bidding of handlers and all that stuff?
Were you given your blue check specifically because you are going to now speak on the side of the opposition,
for what they want? My whole theory that AI is behind a lot of these tweets and retweets, where if you tweet something they like, you get all these magical, like, 1 million likes, 1 million retweets. You're like, why does that thing have a bazillion likes? And it's like, me fart, and some famous comic puts out that, and it's got everybody in the universe is like the retweet, and you're like, it doesn't even make sense.
Because the bots in the system are making sure that's the one getting out on your first part of the feed, as opposed to everything else, which, you're like, oh, great, now my fart is getting 1,000.
Manipulation of reality, which is kind of what you sent me that episode that you put out, and I feel that's kind of where we start. Almost counterculture, would you say, and that the counterculture is somewhat controlled?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, what you're talking about with famous people, trust fund kids taking over, this has kind of been the case all along. In fact, in Dave's book, Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon.
And tell us who Dave is and all this stuff so everybody can look it up.
Right. So part of the reason I'm in town, I'm speaking at this event in Malibu.
The event is? It's
called Mercado Sagrado. It's a fair, and it's a lot of hippies at this fair. So I'm going to be talking about how the hippie movement is controlled. Don't know how well that's going to go over, but we'll see. But Dave McGowan wrote a book called Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon about Laurel Canyon. We mentioned it a little bit last time. But one thing we didn't go into was some of the top Hollywood royalty of the 50s, 60s, 70s were completely establishment. But they had a persona, Peter Fonda, the Dern family. I don't know if you know, Laura Dern's great-granddad was the head of the War Department. and her grand uncle was Skull and Bones. So you have a lot of Hollywood royalty coming from military intelligence families, CIA families, basically OSS families, and that's how they got to the place that they were in. It wasn't because of purely organic creativity, talent, right? I mean, you probably know this being in Hollywood, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, as I watched this past Emmys, that got the lowest ratings it's ever gotten, I'm just watching going, with the exception of Tiffany Haddish, who's an old friend of mine, and even that I start wondering, how did that happen? And there are like great moments of, and you kind of talk about how like something can slip through, or it's like new media, and then they control that.
Right.
But we'll get into that in a few. But as I watch this Emmys, I'm like, these are all trust fund kids. These are all the kids of millionaires and billionaires who are just getting awards for being rich kids.
Yeah, that's why they were allowed to get the awards, because that's like royalty. You're in the bloodline of allowed to be able to be risen to that level. That's the only reason why. You're plucked
It's
from
like
these
every
families.
every 80s movie has this douchebag guy who's like the blonde-haired popular guy. That's what it is. Like that's who runs shit.
For sure, and that's it's a big part of the political correctness movement. Is a bunch of white beta cucks who are very rich, feeling very guilty about that, and they just pick this. You know, they rally against white guys, and you're like, your dad is that person. Your grandpa is that person.
Right.
You are and I love white women. My girlfriend's a white woman. My mom's a white woman. I love white women. But in this town particular, this like detachment from white men, like the crimes of white men, like their family members weren't a part of that system. And this weird, like if I hear another white chick to try to check me on my white privilege, I'm gonna go fucking nuts. I can't take it. So let's go to the beginning of where we see this kind of the intelligence agency, and that's what we're talking about, like CIA, FBI, and their imprints on a lot of this stuff.
So you can go back to way before the OSS and the CIA, which is
is
the predecessor to the CIA, so 1942, right, and then CIA in 47. You can go back to like the teens, like the 19 teens and 20s. The Laurel Canyon area already has this weird pedigree because who's the famous magician? Houdini is from the Laurel Canyon scene, and he was a spy. Most people don't know this, but he worked for Scotland Yard as a spy. So Houdini himself was an intelligence spy asset. Isn't that crazy?
Did you know that?
I found out because I listened to his episode. Yeah, that's so cool. It's crazy.
Then you've got a whole bunch of weird deaths that happened in this vicinity, questionable deaths. Famous actors have died there. Marlon Brando's son, Christian Brando, weird death.
That was more recently.
It is. But if you go back to the 50s and 60s, you've got a bunch of deaths then too. There's a 27 Club. A lot of people in the 27 Club come out of Laurel Canyon scene. Anyway, long story short.
I mean, there's also blood sacrifices, which we kind of talked in the last one, where like all these famous people have a mysterious death in their life.
Or
like,
multiple deaths.
Or
Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson has like a ton of people in her family that were sacrificed.
But it's so interesting because like if you go Metallica, their bassist dies. Like you can go through all these guys who, like Kanye West, like his mom died. Like this Bruno Mars, Ellen. All these people have these very close people who have had a mysterious death in their lives.
Yeah.
And not saying that they did anything or they were, but it's just this weird kind of repeating pattern.
Right. And I think that if you consider, like Zappa, right? Zappa's family, they are military intelligence, right? His dad worked at the Edgewood Arsenal, which dealt with bioweapon research, creating super viruses and that kind of stuff. And then he goes on later to work at the World Bank, right? So all of these establishment figures, and we constantly see this pattern. I think that's what Dave hit on with the music scene in Laurel Canyon. That's what I tried to do in my book, which, by the way, I brought you a copy.
Let's see. It's called Esoteric Hollywood, Sex Cults, and Symbols in Film. This is it. This is for those who are watching on YouTube. Real quick, here we go. That's it. And if you're listening on SoundCloud, I would also like to tell you to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Greg Carlwood is having some real problems with the higher side chats, which blows my mind because I don't really see it as like this super aggressive like podcast, and like he can't get Apple, this monolithic fucking company to answer why his feed is not recognized anymore. So there's multiple places to get, because right now I guess Google Play isn't uploading this podcast. So a lot of people said they've had to go to SoundCloud or I would go to YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Sam Tripoli and actually check out BitChute now too. Yeah. That's the big thing that Alex Jones just, regardless of what you think of him, he just went to BitChute. You can find all the episodes on there. I don't know why I brought that up. Oh, your book. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, check that out. And so we're seeing it over and over again where there's these established, either they're the sons and daughters of high up military, or they're like an asset. You know, Jim Morrison, very famous, son of a man who's involved in the false flag,
right?
Exactly.
The Gulf of Tonkin.
Vietnam War, exactly.
Yeah, and how like later on, like it came out it didn't even happen.
But then they kind of shove that away. They're like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. And then more false flags happen. They're like, yeah, a few more years we'll reveal it and nobody will care because they'll wonder who's going to fuck Kim Kardashian this week or who's going to win the Super Bowl. And we're just going to be, like you said, programmed to not pay attention to those parts of it.
So let's talk about Laurel for sure. It's like, and you watch it happen. You're like, you guys don't see what's happening right now. You don't see what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
They drop something super important and then they go, but don't worry about that. Who's going to win this big sports thing?
Yeah.
You know, like.
It's so weird. But the controlled opposition, like, let's get into like, now when you talk Laurel Canyon, you're talking about like a famous studio there, right? Or was
Partly,
it a building?
right.
Or when we talk Laurel Canyon, for those who don't know where Laurel Canyon is, if you don't live in Los Angeles or in Hollywood, Laurel Canyon is this kind of super windy road that goes from basically the valley up onto Sunset Boulevard. And
there's a lot of rich douchebags that don't like you driving up there, by the way.
I mean, dude.
Because it's like super tight, but there's no parking. All the houses are smashed together.
If you saw how it goes, it's so interesting how, like, why would you even make this road like that? And it's purposely done so you don't want to drive up there.
And it's Mulholland Drive, hence the David Lynch movie, and it's Wonderland Avenue, so it's sort of immediate Alice in Wonderland mind control stuff, where the base is. You have to go up Wonderland Avenue, where the former Air Force base is, which
There's a base up there.
Right, which is now a house, which last I heard it was Jared Leto's. He may have sold it, I don't know. But so he bought an old military base, and you can still see sort of the memorabilia of the Air Force base there. You can see like old Air Force signs and stuff. So it's this giant facility with a bunch of underground shit, and they filmed countless thousands of movies that nobody's really seen. Now, I did dig up on YouTube some of the old archives that have like Jimmy Stewart selling you the war, be involved in the war effort, right? And other actors like
it was a great impersonation, by the way. It was
A-list
great.
actors at
Don't
the
you
time
wish
selling the
people
war.
still knew that impression? Like you could just go up
I
on
totally
stage
did. That was great.
in front of millennials and be like, "Oh, I'm Jimmy Stewart." They're like, "I love that." Snapchat that.
They're like, yeah, get your boomer humor out of here. Nobody knows who the fuck Jimmy Stewart is.
I like
I feel bad for impressionists. How do you do impressions of attractive people?
You have to be attractive.
Yeah, it's so weird,
Gotta do a
right?
duck face selfie.
So what basically happens is that these people at the top are so insanely smart, right? They're so smart.
Some, yeah.
Most, I mean, we would say this game
If you
plan.
mean like raw IQ, yeah. But
I think they're patient more than anything.
Oh, dude, these game plan is not like
so
let's do it in the
patient.
next two. This may not even happen in my
years.
lifetime.
Correct. Hundreds of years could go on.
My goal is to advance what we're doing here. You know, a lot of people call the decay of society. We're decaying right now. I don't believe that at all. Everything we're doing right now has been done for thousands of years.
Correct.
It's just whether it's more acceptable. The decay of society comes from greed right now. Greed,
Capitalism.
the consolidation of money and power is what's destroying everything. Not the fact that people like to stick their dick in weird shit, okay? And we're talking about 18 and over. If you're in the weird shit, whatever that may be, you do you, boo. I don't really care. I don't really give a fuck if you're not into your typical man-woman shit. Whatever you're into, do you. But the decay comes from the jobs being shipped out, the manipulation of just pop culture, you know, like there's this whole gay agenda. People say it's going, dude, you live in LA, you know, a million gay people. You go to West Hollywood, you know, gay. They're not going, dude, we got to get the kids queer. We got to. We got to sit around and we got to get fucking queer kids. And we're going to queer them up. And they just want to do a drink, smoke some meth, and suck each other's dicks. And they're fucking fine.
They don't want more competition.
It's the people at the top that think that these gay guys are just docile motherfuckers.
Well, I think they're also saying that because they're gaying it up behind the scenes, and they need to keep that as collateral over people they don't want to. They don't want whistles blown.
There is something to that.
So they're like, we need to turn people against the gay idea, and then when we're gonna fuck them in the asshole, they'll be super sad to like ever admit that this happened, and I'll have something.
Well,
over
that's
them.
the straight guys who I think like. You know, I mean, full fucking, you know, disclosure. I struggle with drugs and alcohol. I go to there's an AA meeting that's all gay guys at this meeting. And I pray that everybody in their life could get somewhere where they can be so brutally honest and not have anybody judge you. Yeah. It's the most insane. And like the things I've had to go through, like in my drug, like if I couldn't talk about in this room, I would probably be dead. So most of the time, people just want to smile, laugh, and get laid. You know, these people at the top, and we'll get back to like kind of in the world that you think of. You know, there's a gay agenda going on, and maybe you believe that, maybe you don't. I just think that gay guys fucking know that there's a lot of gay people, they move here and so they could be fucking happy. And then they take the jobs in the industry because that's what they want to be in entertainment some way. And then you got gay guys picking gay guys. You know, it's like, oh, I'm gay. Hey, he's a gay guy. I like gay guy. I don't see it as this master plan done by low level people.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
So you have to go to gay A?
Gay A. No, there's not gay A. There's gay A. There's fucking anything.
That's like Christianity. Christianity is gay A.
That's a good
Catholicism
point.
is gay
A.
A.
You know, everyone's like, you know, I had someone on. It's like, why is pedophilia only involved in one religion? I go, dude, you're delusional if you think it's one.
Yeah, right.
It's all of them.
Yeah.
You know, the Catholic Church is the Christian version, and Hollywood is the Jewish version. And it's just like, you know what it is? I mean, like, let's just call it what it is. And it doesn't mean that you're like, dude, I don't judge. I love everybody. My girlfriend's Jewish. Everybody, it's like, it's not. It's like I judge everybody on an individual basis, right? It's not groups aren't doing this. There happens to be a consolidation of certain people. There is a consolidation of Catholic priests who are bugging kids. There's a consolidation of Weinsteins and all that bugging kids. It's just the truth.
You got to find your pedo group.
A lot of that is
find your pedo group.
A lot of that is blackmail. That's come out in some of the big cases, like the Franklin cover-up. And they had these party houses bugged. They had videotapes and so forth. That's how a lot of
that in New Orleans, the Franklin house?
No, that was Nebraska. The Franklin cover-up.
Oh, yeah, the Franklin scandal.
Yeah.
Now, in New Orleans, it just came out that there was a hotel that was filming everybody.
That was on Crazy Days and Nights.
Right? Yeah. And what's your thoughts on Crazy Days and Nights?
I've heard 3 or 4, so I haven't had enough exposure to make a
Do you know what Crazy Days and Nights are?
I don't know. Tell me.
I can't believe you don't know this.
I'm sorry, I don't. Tell me.
Heard of it?
Nope.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Q Anonymous? Which is the whether you believe it or not, it's supposedly like intel put out to counter the mainstream, like inside information. Okay. Now the information, there's a lot of it, whether it's meant for good or evil is the debate and who's putting it out.
Like the David Ikes and the Alex Joneses?
No. It's like it's supposed to be high up in either the NSA.
Okay.
There's a Q group, and then there's also thoughts it's AI that is putting out. Who knows? But it's supposed to be some real information. Well, there's the entertainment version of that is Crazy Days and Nights. And it's this like anonymous lawyer or a series of anonymous entertainment lawyers who put out all this information. Well, recently they put out that there's a hotel in New Orleans that is bugged and with cameras where the power elites go. And after you do whatever you want, they basically show you the tapes of you doing all your shit,
and you got you by the balls.
You got to make donations.
That's what it's all about.
2 people supposedly have not taken this very well. One is a famous actor who is supposedly destroying his life with drinking. That was filmed banging a 13-year-old for 2 weeks.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
And now the debate comes: who do you think it is? Some people think it's Johnny Depp because he's just destroying his life. Some think it's what's his face who just got Jennifer Gardner's
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Some people think it might be that. there's this allegedly.
Well, whenever you see these people getting dragged through, the tabloids or whatnot, and they go, oh, well, Amber Heard said this about Johnny Depp, or, blah, 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 with Ben Affleck and the nanny or whatever. There's so much nanny banging going on. There's so much. Why does that now coming to light about these people? Maybe because of what you're saying. They're trying to give a little drag in the dirt with some stuff that was a little lighter before they're going to unleash the real dirt.
It's possible.
It's Bill Cosby.
Oh, he's already dirt.
Did you see when he came out of his trial and he did the Fat Albert voice?
No, what?
Yes,
that's hilarious.
He walks out and, hey, and all the media people are like, did he just do that?
Yes. He's like, remember me when I was good? Do you remember when you loved me?
It's unbelievable that they would even say. It's unbelievable. So supposedly,
I got to look into this now. Holy shit.
And I don't understand why women allow a hot nanny. Isn't there a little too fuckable? Isn't there some big German?
You need to get a
grandma?
Mrs. Doubtfire. You need to get like a solid linebacker.
Sometimes that doesn't work. Do you remember Arnold's nanny?
Yeah, but he banged her when she was younger, though. You remember her later on.
Oh.
And, she might have decayed hard. It happens to the best of us.
Especially when she's keeping a Schwarzenegger secret under the belt. It's going to whittle the face down.
And now everybody in Hollywood's like, we love the kid. And he's going to be in television shows and all this shit. But going back to the controlled opposition, the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
They're a huge part of that. But we're going to focus on this one area. Who is involved with all this, would you say, in this?
It's okay, and the reason it matters is because it's prior to what most people think is the hippie outbreak of Haight-Ashbury. So it's a few years prior to that in the Laurel Canyon scene. So you've got the Byrds, the Mamas and the Papas, the Doors, right? This is kind of the initial locus of what's going on in this scene, and everybody that moves here has this pedigree of intelligence. Their family is in some way OSS, military intelligence especially, like you said, Jim Morrison. But the same thing extends to the Fondas. The Fondas are from this area. Peter Fonda, Jane Fonda. Their family is high-level military intelligence.
Unbelievable.
And she's always played this anti-establishment character, but she's like super establishment.
Got to play both sides.
Isn't that kind of what's going on with the socialist lady? I just watched Hitting the Table. With the socialist lady in New York, who's like, she's like socialist, but she's like from an extremely rich, powerful family.
She's a Gucci socialist.
Oh, man. Well, it's like when you get the Rothschilds that are like, we're going to take care of the world. It's like the lower level son. It's like, I'm breaking away from the Nazi family. And
somebody had sent me that. Oh, he's an artist. He's not like that.
Well, shit. He's trying to fucking sop up the fucking playing field a little bit here for the family.
But it works because most people fall for it. Did you know, by the way, that Fidel Castro has an IMDb page? Did you know that?
Yeah, he was in a couple movies, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
In a
That's
couple
right.
movies.
Do you think he was an
IDBM.
actor?
There's a great book by an intelligence analyst, Servando Gonzalez, and he makes the case that Castro is actually CFR. The argument is that
Council of Foreign Relations.
Che was legit, but Castro screwed him over. That's the argument. I'm not saying it's true, but there's an interesting case.
We just throw it out there, and hopefully you can do some research.
He also tried out for the Dodgers. Fascinating.
Oh yeah,
Castro?
Cubans, I get that. And then they that's probably why it went so hard on people who tried to escape to play baseball, because they wouldn't let them play baseball.
Yeah, right.
Right? They're like, fuck you, dude.
If I don't get a home run, you don't get the home run.
Yeah.
You don't get to run home.
It's so interesting. Like all the counterculture people are controlled opposition into the feminism, right? But I will get into them as we go. But like Jim Morrison, right? His father's very high up.
Admiral Morrison.
And the whole theory that the hippie movement was basically created in a CIA lab.
I think, yes. And I think that if you look at people like Aldous Huxley, if you look at Abby Hoffman, if you look at the people who were involved with giant corporations creating LSD-25, it comes straight out of the military. And then it magically just spills over into this scene. It's a big test tube is all it is. And if you look at who's behind it, it's very clear. Timothy Leary, CIA, works with the CIA, right?
We had his son on, and he basically said, I pretty much think that's what happened. And, Duncan Trussell's talked about it before, that basically the Grateful Dead were used to distribute it.
Right.
And that the Grateful Dead...
Owsley is the guy who was with the Dead in those...
He's the bear.
He made it from, right?
He made 4 million doses.
Jesus fucking Christ, ready to go.
He was the bear, and the Grateful Dead was the house band of where he basically lived, and that's how they kind of blew up. They were part of this kind of co-opt fucking movement of the CIA. He was making acid for the CIA, and they just basically used that band to...
Originally the Warlocks, by the way.
Wow.
And I think Dave's right that there was a lot of legitimate anti-Vietnam sentiment, and then it got co-opted. What they did was, and there's actually an FBI memo that Daniel Eslin's book on the Tavistock Institute mentions an FBI memo discussing ways to take legitimate anti-war sentiment and steer it off into basically just drugs. Just hedonism, because that will distract everybody from real anti-war sentiment.
I totally see it. And then the whole thing about, you hear the theory that the Manson murders were orchestrated.
Absolutely.
And used to demonize the hippie movement. So now people are afraid of hippies because they'll go kill pregnant chicks and all that shit.
You know what I heard about that? That actually the whole, I forget the whistleblower's name, John somebody or another, was Illuminati whistleblower, because he was in one of these covens for a while where they were kind of in the know, and it was supposedly the main hit was Sharon Tate because she wanted to leave the occult situation that was going on. She wanted to take her baby and have the baby be raised out of it, and they weren't going to have that, so they actually put a hit where they were bringing it down through all the levels, where after like the hundreds of $1,000s that was supposed to be down for it, Manson got like 10 grand or whatever it was, and it was supposed to be just kill everybody, write a bunch of nonsense on the walls, make everybody think that it has to do with y'all being insane, but really it's because Sharon, she cannot leave, and if she's gonna fucking leave, she's gonna fucking die. So that was something I heard.
Also from a military intelligence family, Sharon Tate.
Really?
They all come together.
Well, I mean, like, he's a comic, and I think he's one of the most talented comics out there right now, Nick Kroll. I mean, his dad is Kroll Enterprises, I believe.
Oh, shit.
Which is, and I think he's a wonderful entertainer, which is very much involved with Mossad.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then you look at, like, there's a lot of Georgetown connection. Him, Mike Mulaney, that whole group, very much, and Mike Rabiglia, that whole group is very much... You know, got very deep ties to big.
Sam was
bucks.
dissing me a minute ago about doing voices. I was going to start doing it. I was going to do a Jewish voice.
Do it. No, don't do it.
That Sam over here. He's dissing me about the Jewish voices. It's his girlfriend. I don't know.
It's very jerky voice. It's very.
That sounds like my girlfriend's mom, by the way. That sounds.
I hope it doesn't sound like your girlfriend.
I'm Jewish. You're right on the money. It's perfect.
There
is like it's not necessarily. There's no confidence behind it. It's like I hope you don't mind if I say this. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know, it's just like within the conspiracy communities, you have to be very conscious of that, because very dumb people will hijack a movement and blame it on people, and then people will use buzzwords to cover up actions of dark arts people. And I've said before that just Judaism, Islam, Christianity, they're all masked.
Well, it's like you said in one of your shows. You did a live stream where you were talking about, and you said it's Luciferian.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what's in my book.
And did you study Khazaria that I sent you to look at?
Oh, man, it's crazy.
And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, well, I just like when going back into the whole idea of, the idea that any of these power families or any of these power structures, they need to own, everything entirely. The idea that these, it goes back even to like the Rothschilds and whatnot, all of these areas, they're all trying to kill each other and make it seem like, it's this, group against this group. But truly, they just need to push people out, take the full power. And I'm sorry, especially as being a Jewish person, but there's a lot of fucking deep Zionistic nonsense that goes on with all this stuff about.
When you hear Zionism, do you think anti-Semitism?
No, I anytime I hear anything, I'm always wanting to look into it and see what resonates as truth with me. It's all playing both sides of the field. You're against me, and I'm, not against you, but I don't want you to take Israel from us. There's all these things. So the idea of hearing about Khazaria and realizing that that's so what's currently going on with Israel and Palestine, it's just,
when I think of Israel, I think of people who are I know a lot of Israelis They're wonderful people.
Yes.
And the amount of money that small area is getting, which is like basically L.A., like Orange County down to San Diego, a very small. The amount of manipulation that must be going on to the population there through the news, and everybody hates you, and these people, and you're demonizing these people, which really fucking hardens and galvanizes and militarizes a group of people,
including the children. The children are raised thinking that this is the way. These are your next door neighbors.
Yeah, and it's and it's just like, I just think it's all like dark arts motherfuckers, and it just like, and the truth is, the Rothschilds, if this make a dollar, would do something devastating to Israel.
That's
just
why
to
they played both
dollar.
sides. Yep, that's why they played both
And
sides.
that's how I see it. And like, so when we hear buzzwords like racism, sexism, and they do exist, anti-Semitism, they do exist. A lot of people just use that so you don't discuss a certain type of issue, and it's really just used to you see now it's like if you're on the right, and I say, like when I brought up Kavanaugh and his anti Constitution views. You know, the right yelled at me, "Oh, dude, you're unfounded allegations," right? And then you bring up like Dr. Ford's CIA connections, and you're like, "Oh, just like, oh, conspiracy theorists.
Right.
You must be an Alex Jones guy."
Oh, that's the worst word. It makes it seem like you can't look into what you're talking about.
Right.
And it's funny. We were just talking about the Judaism. My mother took me out. She was raised in more of a Jewish family, but I was put in Hebrew school per the grandparents early on, and I came home at about 6 years old with a picture of Israel. We were told to color, and we were told it belonged only to us, not to the Palestinians. I was being indoctrinated into that at 6 years old. When I reported that to my mother, she said, "I'm getting you out of that fucking school right now," and we never again ever like pushed Judaism on me, because it was just something that was trying to program me.
Old fucking wars from dude, we did an episode on the show where it's just like lost tribes. So you got these people. So what you have are 80-year-old guys and women who have bought into this system so long, and now they're getting towards the end of their life, and all these prophecies that they've basically gave their life to aren't happening. Yeah. So they're like trying to make them happen, like these end of day, like it's like people think the end of days are gonna be like Mardi Gras, like the apocalypse. Dude, the end of days is 500 years of darkness in which like flying scorpions come out, and it's like the earth opens, everybody. It's not a party, man. It's not a carnival cruise. It's like a real shithole time, right?
My theory is that we're going through apocalypse right now to a certain degree, because if you look at what the Bible was talking about, it's the good go to heaven, the bad go to hell, and everything in between can be like looked at as possible folklore. But we are right now, most of us are awakening to a higher level of consciousness where we're starting to pay attention to these things, and the others are staying in this level of upset, this fear level, and we are separating. Whether or not they're trying to program us to do it, we naturally are kind of going through this progression, and I don't know.
So wait, so you talking about the Rothschild connection to Khazaria?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Rothschild connection to Kazam? The Shaq movie.
The Shaq movie? Oh, no. Wait.
Shut up. Are you fucking with me right now?
Oh, okay. I was
Motherfucker.
going to say, wait, are you talking about Kazam, or are you talking about Shazam?
Is it Shazam?
The Shazam is the Sinbad movie that Mandela effect people
but there is
think that
one
it's
with
not
Shaq,
real.
isn't there, or not?
No, there's definitely one with Shaq. That's the one everybody knows. But apparently in the alternate universe, and that's a whole other team, and a whole other thing is Mandela effect talks, but there's another movie that was called Shazam that even Sinbad's like, I didn't make it, but there's footage that shows that this was a real movie.
It was like that
commercial.
the Bernstein Bears or whatever.
The
it
Bernstein
is.
Bears.
Isn't
I have a
that the same
photographic
thing?
memory, and it's never been stained. Bernstein Bears. I have a photographic memory. I
it's
remember
Steen.
making fun of them being Jewish bears because it was Steen, and so the fact that it's all of a sudden stained. I went home to my books.
Are you serious?
I'm gonna tell you something. I have a pile of books this fucking big, and I am telling you to the point where I used to laugh and be like, it's like Frankenstein, Berenstein, da 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 da. And then I hear about all this, that it's supposed to be Berenstain. It never was Steen. I go back home and I'm like, wait till you see. I'm gonna take pictures and show you. And I look at the books and they're all Stain. Yeah. How did it change? Well, they say that we're in an alternate timeline where things are just slightly different, just to fuck with our brains, that we've been put into a different dimension.
Just basically that superconductor that slams atoms against each other has opened a realm.
There was an interview with one of the CERN people who was assuring people that Trump didn't win in an alternate universe. Because he was getting emails saying, "Is this an alternate universe because Trump won?" Yeah.
Yes.
And so there was an actual CERN guy saying, "No, it's not an alternate universe."
No, because he has to say that. It's part of the programming. You got to make us all feel like we're nuts right now.
Oh, but look at that. Go down.
Berenstein, see?
Yeah, but look at over
Look
there.
at the top.
See, it says state because everything is slightly, and then it's the same thing. You heard about Mandela
I
effect,
think
right?
they
With
just
all the
fucked
movies.
up on the
But at the
spelling.
bottom it says stain.
There are real things where people show, and even in like TV Guide where it says, and it's not even just there's lines from movies that are the most popular lines on the planet that we all still quote to this day, that they go, no, people are like, no, I know what it is, and it's even quoted in things like on Hollywood Walk of Fame and whatnot, it's quoted, and then you go back to the movie and you hear it, and it's things like, if you build it, they will come, not he, or if you build it, he will come, not they will come.
Well, I was gonna do Star Wars, but Sam will diss me if I do a voice.
No.
If I do
No,
the-
do
I
it.
won't dish you, dude. I don't know. I'm not comedy Nazi, bro. Go for it.
No,
No, I was gonna do Darth Vader.
but that's it.
Let's hear it. Let's
But
hear it.
no, but yeah.
Are you a man of
No,
a
but no,
thousand
the line.
occultic voices?
Yes,
I
it's
like
my
it.
altars. They all
You
come
only
out
do
and they
people
start
who are
talking.
compromised? Is that what it is?
Yes.
He's like, we got to give them their real voice back. So let me. No. Yes, give them a line.
I'm gonna do the rest of the interview in my Nick Cage voice.
By the
that's
way,
perfect.
I have this dream scenario that the apocalypse comes, all's destroyed, and then those who follow only find Nicolas Cage movies, and he becomes Jesus Christ.
Because he's a national treasure.
Yeah. And
Everything he's done in those movies
He's a cult
is
dude.
now something we're dealing with
Yeah.
right now.
3 million, but he's a Coppola. So who's to say
Yes,
what's going on
right.
with the Coppolas and that whole chain of command and so many things. I don't even know where to go. There's so much to talk about. I'm so excited to hear more of what you have to say about all these things.
It is.
Where
so,
were we?
It's well, we're going back to controlled opposition,
Okay.
the military families.
Yeah.
So we have the 70s, right, or the 60s.
Yeah.
With the Doors, and does it continue? Like, are you going to tell
It
me
does.
Ozzy's dad was like the head of the military?
Osborne?
Yeah.
That's a new one to me.
No, I don't know. I just asking.
It sounds good.
He
Let's
rocks
just-
so
Black
fucking
Sabbath,
hard.
you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's just dark art shit, right?
Yeah.
It's either military rich kids or Satanists who take it in the butt.
Well, a lot of people might find it surprising to know that the military has studied occultism and its different ways that it could be used in psychological warfare. Michael Aquino, he's done studies on exactly how to use black magic in PSYOPs. So there's a real application to that stuff. The SRI in the 70s, Stanford Research Institute, they did studies on remote viewing and all this kind of crazy. If you watched Men Who Stare at Goats, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we had just an episode on that. It's it's very interesting. I mean, if you look at there's supposedly this whole thing that Hillary went to Haiti and learned about black voodoo, and that changed the way she operated, and she wanted to master that kind of dark art stuff like that.
Oh
and it's just there's always a dark hand involved in everything.
Yeah.
You know, FDR, I just found out, his father, his uncle, they're all banking families. Yeah. They were all on the Federal Reserve Board that made the first Federal Reserve.
Fucking
and he's
Jekyll
seeing
Island.
this guy's brought back all the, brought the country back through his socialist programs. And at the end of the day, he was just a banker.
Dude, I have a lecture on that very thing. And because Carol Quigley wrote this giant book about the history of the U.S. in the 20th century from the CFR's perspective, right? So there's a great chapter on FDR as a banker scam. And I'm not a mega libertarian capitalist guy, right? So I'm not defending, I'm just saying that the weird part is that they knew that what they could do is stagger it in different decades, that you could have a decade of socialism, and then they would bring in the privatization guys to preach privatization because the wealth had been collectivized, right?
Right.
So it goes in this back and forth pendulum swing, and the bankers actually know how to do that per decade.
Absolutely, they plan for it.
There's a whole theory that Democrats are only allowed to become president when the Republicans fuck up so bad.
Yes, because we have to get back to our mental feeling like things are okay again. They put out the fishing line, and everybody's buying houses and everybody's doing good things. And then as soon as it starts to get good, everybody feels comfortable and they're paying attention to sports again. Then all of a sudden, it's like to take the rug out from under them. Now mortgage rates and everything, and just take the houses back, keep the land, keep the gold, keep all this stuff, and put everybody into debt and into into poverty. And here we did that in 2008, and they're going to keep on doing. Now the housing bubble, everything's starting to come back up, and we all go, oh, we're good. Look, we're doing good again. And I think they're controlling that with Trump in office specifically so that some of us go, well, he might be a crazy person, but did you see the economy's doing better?
This is the economy period.
But don't you think that presidential alert has something to do with that?
To say it again?
The presidential alert? That stupid text?
I found out. Dude,
did
you see that McAfee, like the security thing?
Wait a minute. You're saying everybody got that tweet?
Everybody got that tweet.
Everybody that
I thought Trump was
just to you personally. Oh, sorry.
Did you see that funny meme about how the one sister?
Yes, finally, it's the first time she got tweeted. First time she got a text from her dad in years. No, but McAfee was talking about how, and I don't know if it's true, this is hearsay, but that something with that tweet, which we've never gotten one that says presidential alert. It always says emergency broadcast system or whatever. That was doing something to the bugs in our phone to actually turn on something that is. And I forget exactly what it's starting to access, not like everything isn't accessed already, but doing something specifically so that they can get more in-depth security, like breaching for us. And McAfee said, wake up, everybody, like that's what's going on. And what's funny is that my phone has been crazy since that happened, has been really doing some weird shit.
Here it is, what he said.
Yeah.
Here we go. They're capable of access to the E9. Yeah, here we go.
Very sad.
Yeah,
Very
chips
sad.
in your phone, giving them full
Very
access to
sad.
your location, microphone, camera, and every function of your phone.
Huge.
Not a rant. This is still one of the.
But see, what this does is it puts into question Q now. Now, a lot of people think this guy's compromised. Like, I have friends who are very much towards the right on this argument. Amy Cheapo's a good friend of mine. She's a very cool chick. She thinks that anybody who's really hard anti-Trump is compromised and they're being blackmailed and all this shit. But if this is true, because Q talked about this many, many moons ago, that Trump will be doing an alert to your phone to let you know what's going on. Well, if this guy's real, and he's real, but if what John McAfee's saying is correct, that they activate the E911 chip in your phone, which allows them to track your location, your microphone, your camera, and every function of your phone. Now you got to question, what is Q? Is Q a psyops, which a lot of people think it is?
I think it is.
You think it's a psyop?
I think it might have at one time been a legitimate leaking engine pro-Trump thing, and then I think it's a bunch of different sources.
It's always going to keep you guessing. They got to keep you guessing.
It is an information war.
Yeah.
On our minds. And then just watching this Kavanaugh thing and all these people fucking tweeting, and I'm just like, they're just like, you have all these celebrities, like, a great example of what we're talking about, the military intelligence and the occult, is the whole push for, when Trump wanted to ban trans from the military. And when we talk trans, let's talk about what we're really talking about. It's men dressed as women. We've grown up with women acting like who live their life as men. I mean, there was a famous meme that everybody's had a female PE teacher that looked like this, and it was Rambo in a Hawaiian shirt, and he had his long hair. You're like, and then you think, oh yeah, I did have a PE teacher that looked like that. So we've had women who live their life as men and never even thought about it, whether it's PE teachers, UPS, FedEx employees, tattoo art, whatever. We all know that women who we're like, is that a guy or a girl? Oh, that's a girl. Wow, that's so interesting. It's the thought of men dressed like women that freaks everybody the fuck out.
I think because scissoring is quite all right, bumping pussies is fine, but it's the sword wars that people are.
Well, I also think men are so freaked out because I'm
not gay.
Mine says that's a chick.
Yeah.
And
I want to stick my dick in everything. I just stuck my dick in a dude.
You're really worried you're gonna love that blowjob. You're like, oh, fuck these guys.
Let's be real, guys know guys better.
Yeah,
let's be real.
I'm sure a girl eats a vagina better than a guy eats
That's
a
what I
vagina.
hear.
Word on the street.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
That's what I
Word
hear.
on the street. So our fear is that so when we talk trans in the military, we are talking about men who want to live their life as women, being in the military where it's all about everybody follows the same rules. You don't question everything. And then you're going to have a guy in a fucking wig and makeup serving in the military. It just doesn't fit what the military is, which is, here's your orders, go. You know,
it shows that you don't follow the rules. Your rule was you were given a dick, and you're supposed to use it like that.
And listen, dude, you do you, boo. I don't give a flying fuck if you want to dress like a woman or a Vulcan or whatever the fuck you want to dress. I don't care.
That's where you
don't
start
touch
to
kids.
like
That's all. Yeah. That's all. There you go.
You're gonna scissor.
Who knew that?
Scissoring.
The Vulcans were fucking scissoring before everybody else.
Exactly.
God damn, we're just popping minds on this fucking thing. But when that Trump does that, and it's just you just realize that they play us like a guitar, and they know when to strum, and they know when we're gonna wail. So when Trump's like, "We're gonna do your Trump, we're not gonna put trans in the military."
Huge.
No trans in the military.
Tremendous. Her dick was tremendous.
Yeah,
she's not allowed in.
Very wonderful. Very tremendous.
There's a travel ban. There's a travel trans.
So we're not gonna allow trans in all 10 of them that might actually want to serve in the military. I do joke about. I know trans. None of them want to be in the military.
Yeah.
They all want to be on runways, do makeup tutorials, and be in the wrong side of a glory hole. That's what they're looking for. That's what they like, right? So it's like, but then you have the Guardians of the Galaxy cast all tweeting about how much they want to support their trans community, acting like this is an issue that doesn't affect more than 0.004% of the population. That to me is orchestrated.
Yeah, there was a person who identified as a woman and beat all the women in a recent sporting event. There's been two of
I've
these.
heard about this. Yes.
So I'm just wondering, like, as a female, do you find that a little demeaning to women? I would think it would be. I mean, it's kind of like.
I mean, and look, I'm gonna be honest. Like, even we're built as women, unless you're a bodybuilder. You're built as a woman. The more demure sex to a man, like my husband is just as where he doesn't have super muscles, but he's stronger than I am, and I think it's just he's born a man, so he's technically a little stronger. Not saying, look, I'm a woman who's fighting for women, but at the same time, it's like, come on, you kind of got a leg up on us there, guys. So if you are identifying as a woman, that's just your brain, but your body is stronger than I am. So
your bone density and your muscle build is completely that. And what about the woman who wants to live? She lives as a man, but she's taking HGH, testosterone, and she just was beating the shit out of everybody in her wrestling. She's won like states 2 years in a row.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, if she's able to bulk up and beat the boys, then.
All right, well, let me blow all your minds.
Oh,
whoa!
Let me blow all your minds. All right.
Don't you do this.
So let's say you're going to identify as whatever you want to identify with, right? And this is your right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can I not identify you as what I want you to be? Why can't I have that right to identify you that way? If you have the right to identify yourself in whatever way.
And make him call you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we all have the rights to do whatever we want. Your soul and your brain and your heart. That's just the stuff inside. Whether you feel good, but I mean, wouldn't you look at my body and be like, you're a chick, you're a girl.
Well, the biggest thing is like, you can tell me I can call you whatever you. I'm fine with the being like I want to be called him. Okay,
Perfect.
like hey, I know that duly noted. When legislation starts getting, that's where I have a problem. And it goes the other way. Like, dude, honestly, you don't have to like anybody.
Yeah.
You don't want to like blacks. That's your thing. It's a dumb thing to me. You can do whatever you want.
You can't make it law.
You can't make it a law.
Yeah.
You can't make it a law.
Let everybody be themselves.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't expect everybody. There's people who, my best friend thinks the world's flat, whether you believe or that or not. That's like
Hey, but wait, what if I don't want to be myself?
You get to be whoever you want to be.
Dude, there's a fucking comic.
Do you identify with a dog? Because then you get to be.
Well, I said Sam was MC Search, and he didn't know who I was talking about.
I know exactly. Fucking
Third
first,
base.
Stink face or whatever. Yeah, dude, I've been listening to rap since way back in the day. But the point is like you can ask, like if someone goes, hey, my name's Sam, but they call me scumbag or whatever, right? You call me scumbag. Well, I could call you scumbag because you've asked it. I could call you Sam too, But
well, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. What if Sam says, I want to identify as MC Search? What would MC Search say to that? Like, does Sam have the right to do that?
That's an interesting. I mean, like you can. I mean, you get to be
you're here
whoever
to
you want to
defend
be.
any side of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and I love everybody. I want everybody to be able to be themselves and to feel good about themselves. That's 100%. I'm a lover. Look, love first. That's what I'm all about. So it's just be good to each other and golden rule. That's how I live. So I have no say to if you want to identify.
Can I identify as like Serena Williams or somebody? Or can I not do that?
You can do whatever you want to.
You're gonna have to
do whatever
but I might not
you
get
want.
recognized as that.
And you could ask people to recognize you. Legally, I don't know what kind of fucking rule there is, but it's like, you could be like, I want to be seen, I don't know, as whatever you are, as a space alien. You could be asked to be seen like that. I think you have every right to ask for that. You know, whether a law is going to be passed that, I don't know, man.
Oh,
I want to get back to these kids in the military. I found this one rule. Look at all these people who are kids of military that are, I mean, like, dude, you can just go on forever and ever of kids who are military brats.
like famous kids.
Yeah, I'll read some names of them, man.
Oh my God.
Let's go through this. Jessica Alba, Ray Allen, America. It's just a band. They're the whole country. America. Susan Collins, Chris Cooper, John Denver, military brat. Mia Hamm, military brat. Pam Grier, military brat.
They're bred for it, man.
What? Wiseclef, whatever his name, the rapper, military brat. Now, they don't tell you how high up these people are, but they could be super high up, right? I mean, Priscilla Presley. Well, Elvis was in the military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had a handler, by the way.
Oh God, wasn't the
Mind control handler, his colonel.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
Colonel. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Gore Vidal, fucking military. He's supposed to be all the
Leftist.
anti,
Right.
Everybody's here. Wiz Khalifa sounds.
Yeah,
Just throwing
Amy
names out there.
Adams,
Chris Christopherson,
Christina Aguilera,
Peter Sarsgaard,
J. Cole. I mean, like, go down the list of just like, it's unbelievable how many.
Oh, that was just one branch of military. Look, there's the Army,
Yeah, that
Amy
was
Adams.
just one branch right there.
Holy crap.
That was the Air Force.
That's the Air Force.
That's
Holy
the Air Force.
shit.
And
yeah.
then you go down.
Timothy Leary,
When you think about how
Tommy Lee, giant big dick Tommy Lee.
I mean, when you think about what their parents would go through in the indoctrination by just joining in the military at all, then they pass it on to the kids, and everybody is indoctrinated. Oh my gosh! In talking,
It really is that way. My dad was in the Navy, and he always wanted me to join, and I
Yeah.
never did. And he was always saying, "They will break you down and rebuild you."
oh, but
Sharon Tate. Here it is.
Yeah.
see,
told you.
and that's why I say she wanted to leave. She wanted to leave, and they're like, "You're not leaving."
Right.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, like
Andy Dick, Robert Duvall,
the worst human being on the planet, Tommy Lahren, like that chick who's like 22 and tell everybody how the world works, who looks like a talking 8-ball that gives like old Republicans boners, you know?
Oh my God.
Heather Locklear, Patton Oswalt.
Oh my gosh.
I just threw up in my mouth. Nancy Wilson, Billy Bean. We can just keep going. Andy Dick.
Yeah.
Andy Dick, military.
What about
Jim
like?
Morrison, Steve McQueen.
I like how Wikipedia lists it as military brats.
Oh my God,
That's
hilarious!
very professional.
Yeah,
They use the
right?
word
Native
brats.
military brats.
Wow, there's so many of them.
I try to be all proper. I was like, military kids, famous kids. No, brats.
they're brats.
BRATZ,
Yeah, they're
brats.
Michael J. Fox.
Or just people who are in the high ups in any facet of government and whatnot, like the Kidmans. Oh my God, Nicole Kidman and that family. Oh my God, the father was Anthony Kidman. He die in Singapore under some mysterious circumstances because he was running from pedophilia charges.
Oh my God.
Oh, and not just that. Have you ever heard of Fiona Barnett? Is it Barnett or Bartlett? Something very close to that.
Barnett.
And she based Barnett, and she blows the whistle, saying that basically she was part of like Luciferian families early on, and they sold her into the Australian government's pedo ring, and she was passed around by everybody. And Anthony Kidman was her main handler, and did all kinds of programming with Nicole in the room, with Nicole like looking at her and being like super upset that she's two things: getting the attention, and probably because she was also a victim of it as well.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Oh my God! So then it's ironic when you think about Eyes Wide Shut, and you have Nicole Kidman, and you have Prince Scientology, Tom Cruise, them already being a couple going into this situation. Dude, have you seen the Eyes Wide Shut, the final scene where they give away the daughter? So in the final scene, they're in a
book.
toy store. It is? Oh my God. See, that's why I'm so excited to hear. They go into the, I said, this is why I don't get to talk to anybody about this. I feel like this is my love. This is my love. Well, not love. I mean, I hate it, but at the same time, I need to talk about it. In the final scene of Eyes Wide Shut, the child, they're in a toy store and everything is perfectly placed where there's like tigers, almost like sex kitten kind of beta displays, and then there's games that say like the magic circle. Yeah,
right.
you know exactly. This is great. And at the final thing, they basically kind of like pat the kid, and the kid walks away with these two old gentlemen, kind of looks back at them, and they're not even paying attention to her anymore. And you think to yourself, if you're at a toy store with your child, you're on the child's side the whole time. You're in a toy store, Jesus. But no, they literally kind of like pat her like, you have a good one. Hope you do well, kid. And literally the kid goes away. And if you think about the way Kubrick places things, everything is pertinent. There was the earlier scene with the girl who was the prostitute, and she had the tiger on the bed, and she was like a sex kitten. So all these different things. And supposedly there was like 20 extra minutes of that movie that was cut, and he ironically died right after he showed it the very first time.
No.
What kind of whistles was he blowing?
I'm with ya.
Oh my God. And then they had talked about how he had a heart attack, but yet the CIA knows how to like give you a heart attack with a dart,
gun.
with a dot, like a little baby, and it dissolves in your body. Boom. So the idea that also Sidney Pollack finished that movie, which I think he's a Freemason or he's somewhere in that realm or whatnot, and then he died and her weird. Oh my God. This is like so totally. So I want to hear, I want to hear more about the family researches that you've done in the whole esoteric Hollywood. This is my jam.
Yeah, when it comes to Eyes Wide Shut, I mainly did stick with the presentation in the film itself. So I talk a lot about the cults that were kind of in the background, the Crowleyan type stuff that does influence the ritual, how they use the beauty queen. And she has to basically sacrifice herself, at the end. So all of that has, parallel in the real world, right? I think that Kubrick, if you look at across his films, he's telling us the same story about like elite pedophilia, because it's a theme in The Shining.
Absolutely.
It's a theme
with the weird dog
Barry
in the room.
With Barry Lyndon, it's a theme. Lolita.
Oh, of
that's
course.
what that movie's about.
Absolutely.
So it constantly comes up in Kubrick films, and I think that's really what he's trying to tell us.
Hold on 1 second. Are we still going, Aaron? Yeah. Okay, because the mic, it just went out. What? Somebody kicked the thingy again. Uh-oh. Okay. Anyways, keep going. Sorry about that. The energy just go on. Sorry.
This is so.
Continue what you were saying.
Well, I was just saying that. Don't touch thingies. Don't kick thingies. No, I was just saying that's what I think the film is about. Kubrick is continually telling us about the way the elite runs things.
He's trying to blow that whistle quietly over the course of time. Then he's like, you know what? I'm 70. We're gonna just blow the lid off this thing.
And they made deals with him too. Like he made deals with NASA and the Air Force. They told him that he could use certain lenses. The Zeiss lens was like $1 million lens at the time, which he used to film Barry Lyndon. They're like, but you're going to have to, do 2001 kind of the way we want it done. And so I think he kind of had to make deals to get where he was. But he also, as an artist, wanted to tell his own story. He didn't want to be controlled.
Of course.
And so I think that does play into his downfall.
When you go into what you're talking about, Nicole Kidman, I mean, if you look at, if you look at Benet, John Benet Ramsey, the whole theory about her. And how they believe her family was very much into that whole thing.
And just sacrifice that baby.
Dave has another book.
And just sacrifice that baby.
just give it to Satan.
There's a second, an earlier book by Dave McGowan that's really good called Programmed to Kill, where he, if you're familiar with that, he looks at he looks at the history of serial killers and how a lot of them had a tie to military intelligence in Vietnam.
Really?
There was a program in Vietnam called the Phoenix Program, which was the CIA under William Colby to create serial killers, literally.
I've heard of this.
Yes.
I've heard of this,
to terrorize the Viet Cong, right? So if you've watched Apocalypse Now, you've seen Colonel Kurtz and people go crazy.
What's the name of the program?
Phoenix Program.
The Phoenix Program.
Yeah, William Colby, right? So a lot of these guys come back from their tour of duty and they're created serial killers.
Because they were supposed to only kill women and children and not supposed to actually kill military. They were sent in to kill civilians, and then it fucks with the mind because they actually took babies and women's lives. So then they go, oh, well, I guess I need to just keep killing women and babies. And then that's it. They look for specific women and babies, and they have like a program. Oh, my God, yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
That blows
Isn't that
my
crazy?
mind.
So and they
crazy.
would recruit guys who already had proclivities to like sociopathy, psychopathy, bring them in, put them into the program, bomb their minds with LSD, right, and all the
Holy
MK Ultra,
shit,
all the
dude.
MK Ultra stuff, and then send them in to terrorize the Viet Cong. There you have your anti-terrorism crusade, because the Viet Cong were the counterinsurgents that Rand Corporation was studying.
And then you start think the what corporation?
Rand Corporation was studying counterinsurgency in the Viet Cong to prepare for the war on terror. Isn't that crazy?
I'm gonna tell you, it's always to create fear. Now you fear leaving the house because there's serial killers on the loose. You
It
fear
is.
being
It
a woman and
atomizes,
child.
yes.
100%. You have to create.
Atomized society.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
Dude, that's
Just-
unbelievable to me.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. I think his family was military intelligence. I think it was like his brother or somebody was like a killer and something.
They also talk about the power families that they raise the children specifically to create a dissociative identity disorder by putting them in cages and doing crazy things. So much abuse when they're younger that they have to, for defensive purpose, like to survive purposes, they disassociate. So now you have like this compartmentalized brain you could play with.
Yeah. You want to hear some crazy shit?
Please. Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
So I've read conspiracy stuff for a long time, and I was always skeptical of that very point. Like I was open to it, but I was looking for like real solid documentation. And I found it this year. And so one of the MK Ultra doctors is Dr. John C. Lilly, right? He's the guy who dosed all the dolphins, like, and was quite literally trying to hump Flipper. Literally, like they would have.
I've heard a couple people.
She was just trying to. It's kind of like she was just trying to get it to come so it will calm down. Literally, because it was too.
That's what we're always trying to do to guys.
Whoa, Your Honor. She wasn't humping it. Yeah. He was getting it to calm down.
It was autoerotic. Autoerotic dolphination.
And that's what women know how to calm a man down. We just need to make you come, and then that's it.
Yeah, and when they heard about that, they took all that shit because they were like, we don't support this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This dolphin.
So
shit we got
Lilly
going on.
has a book that's called
"It Was No Porpoise:
Programming and Meta-Programming in the Human Supercomputer," which he means the brain. Okay, so he's literally one of the MK Ultra doctors, and he writes this book about human programming in the brain. And in the book, he's documenting all of his experimentation. Right. He experimented on kids, under government aegis, wiping their brains with LSD, and talked about in the book how you can reprogram them.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
here's
God,
the actual book talking about it.
Well, there was a documentary I saw about the weird ways of the elite and the way that all the children of the elite are all raised in very similar backgrounds where they are totally abused in a way. It's one thing if you're, I don't agree with any abuse of children, but if you swat a kid with your belt and that's like the way you grew up or whatever.
This, like a
that's
backhand to the fucking
No,
head.
this is we're talking about you don't get fed, you get put in a closet for 5 days, dark rooms, you get you have to sleep in your own feces. Like there's things that are so tormenting.
Sounds like Michael Jackson's kids.
Right, there we go.
Blanket.
That's why he used that blanket. He had nothing else.
Well, no, the Jackson kids were like abused like motherfuckers if you think about it.
Absolutely. I mean, all the children of the elite. There was even one, the what is it? Oh God, fuck, I'm gonna forget the name. But it recently came out on one of these shows, like a Dr. Phil, where the kids were crying about how they would the parents would burn the bottoms of their feet and would do things that would specifically really harm them. And then as they got older, now they do those things to other people.
Now you're telling me that the children would get their feet hot dog cooked. Is this what you're saying to me right now?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Now, Sam over here doesn't believe this.
I believe, dude.
I think it was like Doris, some really high up with the D name. Power family.
Let's take this thought and let's apply it to Hollywood.
Oh, that's exactly.
And all these kids, when we go back to what we're talking about, the Emmys, and it's all rich kids.
That's a Duke. That's it. I knew it was Duke.
And
Doris
all
Duke.
these kids that are the kids of billionaires and millionaires.
Oh, the Duke heirs. They talk about being raised in a satanic household.
100%.
Yeah, they talk about it being satanic.
And then now they do those kind of things like the son did something so horrible and they were like, how did you feel when you did this? And he's like, oh, I felt good. Because it's like now they get to put the pain that they had on somebody else. Right. So they're also now creating no empathy. That's what they're breeding these children to have, is no empathy, so that they can go on and rule the world without empathy.
With cold-bloodedness.
This goes back to the way that the nobility in Europe, they would raise their children with governors, right? like mammy type things.
Governesses, and all that
so
kind of
that
stuff,
the children didn't have the bond to the natural mother. That was literally something they've done for generations because it helps to breed the psychopathy.
I completely
There's no empathy,
get that.
basically, because you never bonded with your mom.
I'm such like a loving entity that I think that's why I'm so fascinated by these topics, because it's so far beyond how my brain could.
Women love murder, by the way. Watch the first 48. Everything's a tampon commercial. Every commercial's a tampon commercial.
I don't love murder. I'm the one that doesn't.
Oh, yeah. Law and Order, that's a girl show.
I had to stop watching it because I felt like I wanted to slit my wrist. Like, that's
you know
slit your
why
wrist
women
fest.
love it? It's the ultimate emotion.
I know.
It's murder is the, not, I mean in a good way, but the highest form of emotion is to kill somebody.
And menstruation is murder. It's murder of little eggs.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm constantly bleeding.
I'm joking.
Getting
I'm joking.
political.
No, but that's why I don't want anybody to think that I'm fascinated by this stuff because I'm and I'm just truly, it's so far beyond my soul's understanding of the world. But I know that the world's so fucked up. So now this is almost like, now I have answers as to why it's so fucked up. And when you look into it, you're like, I could breathe a little easier now. They're the fucked up ones.
Look at this, Lincoln Park, right? Like that. What everybody thinks Lincoln
Chester?
Park's. Lincoln Park is actually a military base in Canada that's known for really creepy experiments on people. And then you look at because we didn't talk about in Cuckapalooza. Look up John Podesta and Chester Pennington. Have you seen them next to each other? Wait till you see this.
I know that John Podesta
and Chester Pennington right down there.
John Podesta and this whole Pizzagate thing and his brother with his crazy freaking statues.
Just go to images. Go to images. Go back. Yeah, turn that off so we don't get that. Go to images.
Is that his dad? Is that his dad?
No. They don't think that's his dad. They don't think it's his. They think John
it's him?
Podesta.
Dressing up to sing for Lincoln Park?
That is John Podesta. He is one of considered the guy who's really involved in this whole pedogate shit. He's like the top
pizza,
guy.
Yeah.
Now his mom gets sexually assaulted and knocked up as a nurse. No one knows who the dad is.
It's like he's his twin. It's like he's his twin.
Cuckapalooza.
I will tell you something.
Twin.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But you know what? Not even that young, much younger. Fuck, that's
one of them
crazy.
did a lot of cocaine and drank.
Jesus Christ!
That looks like me and Fahim Anwar standing next to each other. I'm the old guy. Fahim's right there. Every time I follow him, I'm like, I'm such an old man.
That's fucking crazy. I never even thought of that.
But it's because it's so dark. We get back to the military background. The satanic backgrounds. It's so, and it's like sometimes I get really sad because I have friends of mine who I was doing open mics with that are just humongous stars. And you go, why? What happened? Why didn't I do it? Well, probably drugs and not playing by the rules. But also, you look back, you're like, that's kind of interesting. Their background, where they're from, who their dads are. It's just interesting shit.
Just like you don't get picked to be in the presidential running unless you're related to Windsor, unless you're related to some sort of power family, you don't get picked. So you won't get picked unless they go, does this person have any military or, power family background?
Yeah.
No? Then forget it. They're not the ones.
Power family background.
That's it.
It is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I just watch I have friends of mine that are doing such big things, and it's just like, how is that possible? And then you look back who they're related to and all this stuff, and you're just like, wow, man. It's interesting as shit, dude. Dark arts, homeboy.
I'm going to tell you.
And then you go, wow, maybe I didn't make it because I don't like it in the butt. And that's what I tell myself every morning.
Well, that's why I came, was to take you to the new level.
Okay,
there you go.
So
cash and prizes?
Yes, exactly.
Cash and prizes.
Let's stop there.
Oh my gosh.
So tell us about where you're going to do some speaking.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking at a fair in Malibu. It's called
Winner, chicken dinner.
Mercado Sagrado Fair. A lot of hippies, but we're gonna woke these hippies.
Are they programmed hippies?
Some will be.
Think some will be in acid?
Yeah.
Oh,
I won't be, but
you never done acid?
Yeah, many times, unfortunately.
Why, unfortunately?
I got to see Walter Matthau's face melt, and it drove me crazy.
Oh, wowzers. Yeah. I feel like mushrooms are way more fun than acid.
I love mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms are fun, more natural.
This is what I hear, and then here I did the
DMT.
I did
ultra
that
shit.
too.
I
I
don't know
haven't
what
done
my
that
girlfriend
yet.
did with all my DMT. She just threw it out, and I'm like kind of pissed.
No.
Of course, I
God
do it when my
particle?
girlfriend's gone. Then my dog barks the whole time. I can't even see the tin fucking elves. They didn't even let me tell me the reason I'm here. My dog's barking and ruined it. But I want to do it again. I would play the sound, but I can't hear it.
Oh, but can I finish what I did?
No, yes, of course.
He didn't want me to promote it.
I want to hear it all, dude.
No, so I'll be speaking on this topic, this social engineering stuff, at this fair, Mercado Sagrado. It's in the Topanga Canyon area. You can look it up online,
Another
mercadosagrado.com.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you,
Which
is
is
there
right by
anything
it.
that
It's
we
right by
didn't
it.
cover tonight that you wish we could have gotten over real quick? We got a couple minutes left. Is there anything? Because we just went all over the place and I loved it.
Right.
But
No,
I
that's-
feel
that's
like
fine.
I know what to go. Sam, let him fucking talk. Why you let him fucking talk, Sam? Sam, let him talk. I let everybody talk. Let everybody talk. Is there anything that we
I
didn't
get the
cover?
impression you're an animated person.
No.
Is that true?
He's super introverted.
Yeah, it's really weird when I get on stage. I just
my next book is about to come out in December, and it's more of the same but better because I wrote a lot of that shit when I was a shittier writer. So basically, we're going to talk about the mafia in Hollywood, the history of the mob in Hollywood.
and how Hollywood's better when the mob ran everything.
Probably, yeah.
Music, Vegas,
Yes.
all the same. It
And
really sucks.
Yeah, I agree. And MK Ultra in Hollywood. That's a huge section of the next book.
Dude, you gotta look at these. Dude, if you're in the Disney club,
Right.
the Mickey Mouse Club,
Right,
That's it.
you've had trains ran on you.
Yeah, or
And
pedo ring
What's that club
extraordinaire.
called? The Club 420 what?
420. What?
Say
Oh, no.
what? No,
You know what I'm talking about, right? The one you
No.
have to
I
pay
don't
at
know
Disney.
what they call it.
Look it up.
I'll
Look
look
it
it
up,
up right
dude.
now.
There's Club 33.
That's the club. Yeah, it's like a really expensive club where it's like there's
Yeah,
like a wait
it's
list.
like millionaires who love Disney.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really, right?
But it's like,
Disney was a big Pentagon mind control creation.
Oh,
From the
yeah.
The CIA,
Dude.
the CIA helped set it up. It has its own constitution. Did you know
Oh
that?
my God.
what?
Disney is like a city-state, like the Vatican with its own like, constitution.
No, shut up.
I'm
dude.
serious.
Oh, with the
You're telling
underground
me
stuff.
Disney World and Disneyland don't pay taxes or file. You just.
It
made
has
that-
its own-
You made that up.
What?
Did you?
You
You
look
did?
it up.
Okay,
You
look
look
it
it
up.
up.
Look how much it costs.
Oh my God.
How much it costs
The
to join
initiation
Club
fee.
33?
To join that club. Basically, it's saying, you want to fuck these kids? You
Hey.
got to pay up.
In that accent. by the
You
way.
want to
And
fuck
then
Look
10 year
up what
with
he's
these
saying. I'm not
kids.
saying you don't.
No, that's
You
fine.
just blew my mind. Can you look up what he said right there, and then we'll get out of here? What is it?
So the CIA helped Walt set up and find the plot of land to set up Disneyland. And Disney has its own like laws and constitution. Basically, it's not subject to the same laws of Florida. And and that sounds crazy, but when you look into the history of Disney and its connections to the Pentagon, the Siemens Corporation, the CIA,
Well, it's right there.
all.
How the CIA helped Disney
Yeah.
conquer Florida.
Wow.
And that's even like Daily Beast. That's not like
Well,
conspiracy.
click that, dude. Please. We tried. It's a little slow. Oh my God! Read it. Let's go down a little bit. What does it say there?
60s.
Oh, I thought I would have some. That's unbelievable to me. I love and like nobody knows about all
Right.
this shit.
Uh-huh.
So the end on this. Are you happy you know all this, or do you wish you could go back and not know any of
That's
it?
a great question. I always feel like it's better to know because
too, dude.
because for example, like I'm not if you are pro-vaccine, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not pro-vaccine because I read Dr. Jonas Salk's books, the father of vaccines, and he says in his books like Survival of the Wisest, let's figure out how to use vaccines to kill people, right? So that's one reason I'm skeptical,
Jonas
right?
Salk.
Right. So I would rather know that than not know that and go to Walgreens and get 16,000 fucking
So if you have a
vaccines.
kid, you're not gonna give him shots.
Right.
That's
None
I'm
of 'em?
thinking hard about that too.
Not one
Well,
single
no,
time?
I mean, I don't think that like I got the flu one time and pneumonia, and I'm glad that I got antibiotic, right? So I'm not talking about across the board all inoculations. I'm just saying certain, like for example, that a kid who's like 3 months old needs 60 vaccines. And
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
all big
God,
pharma. That's all
no.
big pharma. Come on.
And then they can't get sued for anything that happens.
And there's a secret slush fund for the vaccine cases.
I don't do flu shots. I just eat shit off the floor. Same
Yeah,
diff.
I respect
Man.
that 5 second rule.
the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Aaron, thoughts real quick, then we're gonna wrap it up.
Shit. Yeah. Wow.
He's back there
gone
editing
everywhere.
out all the impersonations.
We've
He's like,
gone
"Get that new
everywhere
shitty
today."
impersonations up here."
Yeah.
What's that?
We've gone everywhere today.
Today's been a great day. It's a great day in podcasting. And all I have to say to you, Aaron, is you're fucking welcome.
Can I just say that I don't care if Stanley Kubrick was doing weird stuff. I think he's an overrated filmmaker.
Oh my God! That's what you got out of this. Fucking Stanley Kubrick's fucking
overrated.
The counter signaler.
Well, guys, I hope you guys had a great time. Anytime you're in town, please hit me up. You're always welcome to come on anytime you want.
This. I was so excited. I'm so sorry. I was like talking all his heads off, but I'm
the whole thing.
I basically just harassed him until he had me on.
No,
I was like, let me come on.
Just running nuts. XG, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on, guys, and we'll see you next week. We're gonna the next podcast will be about how Khabib is basically connected to some very dark arts people, and we'll see you next time. Thank you guys very much.